Pasha Pyro, Y97. Thank you for tuning. The replay. So, we gotta get into it. We gotta get into it. All right. So we got this. For starters, welcome to the channel. Thank you for tuning the replay. Big board pep for my peeps. I hope you had a great Friday. It's currently like Saturday at like 9:30. You know what I mean? On its way. 9:27. So 9:27, that's 9, that's 18, that's 9. So it's a 9. It's a 9 moment. I mean, we put in a lot of work, right? We finishing up here. That's perfect number for right now getting started. Okay. So remember the company Dare, right? And I was telling you how, they on the surface, they are like a feminine product company and geared towards feminine stuff, but they had this company called Microchips, right? Excuse me, that they acquired, and basically it was a chip-based technology dealing with linked to medical stuff, right? So, I've been interested in stuff like that, and there was a big move in this company, SENS, Senseonics, or Senseonics, however you want to say it, right? I like the name itself. The name itself is all about money, right? Because one, I mean, if you get into the etymology of the word sin, it means genetic defect, right? The word sin, the actual word sin, not the way it's spelled here. I'm just looking at the sound, the phonics of it. There you go. So then you got sense, right, which is the knowledge of, and on I see it. That's how I'm gonna say it. On I see S. You know what I mean? So we got that sin, knowledge of sin on I see us. You know what I mean? So it's like sin being a genetic defect, not the religious application. So don't worry about that part. All right, let's get into this here, because I like when you look up a stock on Google and you see stuff like this within the last 72 hours. It's really good. It's really good. Really good sign for me, or to me, or however you want to look at it, right? So we got things to know before investing. We're gonna look at that because it had a couple bullet points I want to go over with you. This options, Yahoo Finance, I like to see that, because it tells me that this little options thing, I don't trade options, but when you see options like this, it's telling me that people are looking for it to move, and that's a good sign for me, because it can narrow down research time, because now I know that this is gonna move. Now the question is it gonna move up or down, right? All right, so basically this company operates as a medical technology company. The company focuses on design, development, and commercialization of glucose monitoring systems. And you know how big diabetes is and how many people need help from that, right? I'm going to get into why, as big as that is, this company has a much bigger application. I don't know how long it's going to take to fulfill it. I don't even know if they're fully aware of it yet, but I'm going to tell you today what it is, okay? And that's why I had to mention the video we did on Dare, so you can see that this is a continuance of that same thought process, and I think it's a great opportunity for you. Let's look at the card real quick. So the P.E.P closed the day at $1.58 right? Or not today, Friday, yesterday. It actually closed Friday because this was up 30 something percent. Should have been on your radar. So the P.E.P closed at $1.58 after it opened at $1.84, but the previous close was $1.20. So that's gonna sound weird, but you guys been in stocks long enough to know shit happens, and this is just another day on the field, right? So it closed at $1.58 after it opened at $1.84, which would sound like it was down, but the previous close was $1.20, which means it went up 64 cents in the pre-market, bounced around during the day, and then closed at 158, which still made it higher, almost 40 cents higher than it closed the day before. Okay. Oh, and yeah, y'all saw Bingo and FRSX. They're up about $1.50 each for the day on Friday. We got some of that. Cool. I hope you got some of that. And we think they're gonna keep going. Like FRI, they're both gonna be $20, $30 companies at some point in the near future. But anyway, so today's focus is because I want you to have time to look this up yourself and decide what you want to do for Monday. I already pushed the trigger on the first 1,500 shares. But let me tell you why. Because I'm looking for just to start off at 1,500 and add to the position from there. So the previous close was at $1.20, so it's still up 40 cents, right? And I think the current max risk is $1 per share since the pullback already started. So see, the good thing is that because it went up in the pre-market and it hit 184 and it closed at 158, it's not a lot, but let's say that's like 26 cents there, right? So it's already dropped 26 cents. So if there was going to be a pullback from a high, it hit a little higher in the day. It went to 205, right? But basically that pullback's already in progress. So I'm looking at it like, even if you get in now and it drops a whole $1, right? Which is going to be like, oh my God. But this is where you got to manage your risk. You know what I mean? This is why you may jump it. Like I may jump in at 1,500 shares versus I'm not jumping in at 10,000 shares. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, the point is this. If it goes down, I would look at this knowing what I'm going to show you everything. I done the research. It's 9:34 on a Saturday, and this is why you put in the work. So you put in the work today. You know what I mean? You didn't lose a day. You still got your errands done, but you put in the work now, and you do this research after work and on the weekends, which I do, but I kind of don't do too many videos on the weekends because I think y'all guys are busy. But you know what? I told you, set your notification bells. I advise you should subscribe, and that way you will get all this and you can watch it when you want to. So don't be mad at me if you don't see this till Wednesday and this moves, okay? And you miss some of it. Don't have the fear it's going to keep going up. I'm going to tell you why this is going to be huge. I mean, huge. What I'm doing with FRX, I know that's not really on our agenda today, but I'm looking at it now like I'm just going to hold a few hundred shares of it, something small, something really small, a few hundred shares, less than 500, and just let that do what it do. I think that'll be a good opportunity in the long run. I might grab a few more, something similar but a little less with Bingo, and let them two ride for a minute. Now this would be one that I'm interested in, like I said, letting ride for some time, because, and here's why. One, if you look, well, let me finish my notes and I'll go over it. But so it should hold $1.05 a share, and that's not a promise, it's not a guarantee, it's an observation, it's a thought. So I'm thinking that it should hold $1.05, and it's gonna go back to retest that $2 mark, which if it does that alone, that's 25% increase So you're gonna make that'll be if it goes back and holds the 205, holds the $2, you'll be up 25%. But it could dip before then. Now the volume was up 600% on Friday, right? So you got eyes on this for some reason, but there's no real news. But I'm gonna tell you what I found, right? And I don't know if they know this, but I'm gonna make sure you know this so you can get an early jump on this like we are. So the historic high on this stock was $5.32. So just if it goes back and retouches this high, you don't already double, maybe tripled your money, right? From where it's at now. I'm thinking we could see 290 to 376 easy by the end of the month. Again, no guarantees, nothing is certain. I'm just doing some math, right? So why do I think this, right? Well, first of all, if you go back and you look, the stock really it has its jumps, but it holds. It holds itself pretty good, right? So at $1.60, if it loses $1, which would be not impossible, but I think it's gonna hold $1.05. So if it loses a whole dollar and goes back to 50 cents, I see that as a time. As long as it holds its position, like you see here, you see how it's really flat, like it has this surge, and then it's flat, then it'll have another surge, and then it flattens out. As long as it holds its position, even if it went down $1 right now, I would be looking to buy some more shares because that's going to be an amazing discount, right? At least from where I caught it. Congratulations to the people that caught this way before. You know what I'm saying? Like 50 cent, like we did bingo. You see what I mean? Congratulations. You earned it. Now, if it drops back down to there, grab more. I'm grabbing more shares, definitely. I don't care. But this is one that I'm looking to hold, and I'm starting off with like 1,500. And here's why, right? Let's get into why. So here's the website, and here's how the website starts off. And it's kind of like a mix between, oh, this is another one of them little basic ass websites, and wait a minute, there's an element of sophistication here on the home screen, right? Like, here's the element of sophistication, and then it's like, oh, wait, that's it? But don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled. Now, you see they're really bringing in, making it look really enjoyable, playful. You see the big ass. It's small, but it's big as shit too, right? Because that's all right. Let's get into this here real quick. Like, it's so much to cover because there's like a whole little mystery with this stock, with this company, and I'm really interested in. I know there's a connection, but I haven't found it yet. And I need your help. Because one of you guys out there know the missing link, and you can put it in the comments below what you think. So we're gonna get into this. All right, give me some minutes because this is all we're talking about today. But it'll be well worth your time. So what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna make sure you can hear the computer audio. Okay, check. All right, so when we go to the products, right? When we go to the products, here you go. It's nice this little contraction, right? The ever since CGM system. Now, what does it say here? All right, publication 2020. It got a publication 2020 publication. That's all you get, and this picture of the guy having a really amazing time with a sensor on his arm and a physician-looking person as well. So now you come here, right? And it says the world's only. Now this is always, if it's true, it's always very inviting. When I see that the world's only, okay, you the only one with it. Now This is where we're gonna get into it. Wait, give me a couple minutes. We're gonna get into it because there's a mystery with this company. I'm trying to tell you, there's a mystery and there's a loose wire. But anyway, it all ties into why this is gonna be huge. I mean, huge. I mean, huger than just the fact that they are involved with huger than the fact that they're involved with diabetes alone. Okay, you with me? All right. So the world's only long-term CGM system. Now, with the ever since 90-day CGM system, you can actively manage your diabetes simply and with confidence. So the Eversense provides continuous blood glucose monitoring for up to 90 days via an under-the-skin sensor, a removable and rechargeable smart transmitter, and a convenient app for real-time diabetes monitoring and management. Now, remember when we talked about DARE and I was telling you about the microchips being put into the people and then it being able to connect. So remember, I'm interested in DARE because it can connect, and with the element building of 5G, then you'll be on a network where you're always connected no matter what, at high speed, real time, massive amounts of data, translation, right? So when you see this now, right? When you see this, I know you're looking on his arm and it's like, man, that's gonna get in the way. Like you know what I mean? You might feel like that little thing stuck to your arm like that. Now, keep in mind, this is like, I ain't gonna say it's the first rendition, but it's gonna be the first rendition released to the public. So remember cell phones when they first came out in like 2000? Remember how big the bag phone was? 90s, whatever it was. Remember it was a bag phone. You had a whole suitcase and you carrying it around. Hey, I'm make a call, and now you see what you got now. So think about it in the sense of it's that size now, and in 5 years, that whole thing will be part of the watch. Matter of fact, that's probably what's going to be next. I mean, you're going to replace your app on your watch with a whole little watch that comes with the app. The transmitter part. You know what I'm saying? It'll be part of the app. So, in my mind, this is not what I've seen on the website. This is my speculation just to know how technology does its thing. You see what I'm saying? So, don't worry about that part right now, but I'm going to show you. So, here we go. Okay? This is the plan. Because, remember, I have a serious joke, right? That make sure I covered all my notes here. Yeah, volume up 600%. Okay, so because this part I'm just freestyling for you off the top because when I reviewed it, this is what I saw, and anyway. So look, you know how I got the realistic joke that stock market is gambling for conspiracy theorists. You know what I mean? Like it does a lot of purposes, but it's not really a gamble if you do educated guess. If your guess is educated, but what I'm getting at is, if you were ever called a conspiracy theorist, I think you have a good shot at doing very well in the stock market. Okay, so what I want you to know is not everybody. Some people don't talk about it. Some people don't know. Shh. So a lot of people have been talking about the risk of, the pros and cons of having the population chipped. So you got to understand, how do you transition a population into wanting a chip? Well, that's a chip. Okay. So this is going to be huge because not only, and this is not even the element I'm talking about yet. Hold on. I'm going to get there for you. So the chip is going to be connected to a transmitter wirelessly. So you put the chip in you, it's going to feed the transmitter, and then the transmitter is going to relay to, right now, current state, your cell phone app or your watch app. Now, I'm seeing this as being in a future state. This is not what they said. This is just, I don't know. I didn't read every word of the website, but this is what I'm thinking. Eventually, there's not going to be a transmitter. Okay. And you may still have an app, like I said, the transmitter technology may become part of a watch or part of a phone in the future that the patient wears directly and has all that capability and convenience factored in. But the app itself also could be either on your computer, like at home, taking data from you all day, no matter where you're at, because once 5G gets available, that would be it's easy now for like you to have it, but it'll be easy for a whole population along with everything else going on the internet to happen at the same time. This is why 5G has such a huge potential value, right? So let's say in the future they get the chip in you. It can be activated by frequencies, right? 5G gonna have frequencies, and then it can relay the data via no need for the stickable transmitter. Maybe the app itself is on your cell phone that can do all that, or a special watch or some other design that you wear instead of sticking to you, right? You get where I'm going with that? You wear it, or it becomes an app on your phone, so you have all that with you anyway, and you don't need to have this little transistor stuck to the side of your arm. So look at it now as this is what it's capable now, and the future is, I think this transmitter box will be going away, and or the technology of the actual chip will become so advanced that either the chip itself will have transmitter technology, or the actual transmitter functionality will be absorbed into the wearable device, such as a watch, or the cell phone, such as more sophisticated applications or whatever, right? So that will go away. And with 5G, it could be sent to other places like your home computer for storage of data and tracking, or even your medical practitioner. And I am not sponsored by this company or an advisor, so this is just my opinion and my logbook, and for your entertainment purposes only. So that is where I see this going. Okay, here's where it's at now. So when the 5G get here, this is going to explode. And right now it's focused on diabetes. Let's see this real quick. So the sensor professionally placed, focused on diabetes, but what happens when they expand this technology into other arenas? See, this is why I was looking at DARE. Okay, so this is like DARE on steroids from what I was looking for. So they're doing it. We can get in now, and it's gonna be huge. We're gonna go over why. So we're going over why right now. You should already see the value. Like, put some money on it. I'm not advising you do that. Do what you want to do. I'm not responsible. You're totally responsible for your own actions. So the sensor professionally placed on you by a healthcare provider, right? Or professionally placed in you. So basically the doctor or whoever going to put the little chip in you remains accurate even when compressed or while you exercise. And note that they're selling, you're going to see that they're really pushing this for the active individual, right? I think that's really, from a sales point of view, we're into marketing and branding also. So from a sales point of view, that's great marketing. Because a lot of people feel limited by this, and to feel like they can go back out and do things. Because some people don't just have like, oh, I gotta watch what. Some people are really serious on a minute-to-minute basis. So you're gonna have the benefit of people who simply don't want to get stuck anymore. Like, you gotta stick yourself and put the little blood on the little thing and everything. If you've ever done any I don't know why you would be a blood over intent. I don't know what you're into. There's nothing wrong with putting a little drop blood on contract. I don't know what you're doing. But anyway, if you ever prick yourself, it's not something you want to do multiple times a day, every day. It gets old quick, right? So then they could just want to benefit from having this technology just so they can stop sticking their fingers, right? Or someone that's really, really, really high risk, like by the minute, got to be on top of the control of their stuff. This thing actually will give you that capability. Probably comes with warning levels and zone, and automatic relays to emergency situations and all that stuff. Now, I'm gonna get into that in a moment, but hold on. So it rests comfortably just under your skin. Sounds familiar, right? Okay. So the transmitter is removable, rechargeable, and water resistant. Sends data every 5 minutes to your mobile device and provides on-body alerts even when your mobile device is not nearby. Now, the mobile app receives real-time glucose measurements on your mobile phone or smartwatch, no need for separate receiver, and tracks events like meals and workouts and see them right on your graph, right, to help you identify trends. So share your data with friends, right? Remember, look at all this stuff it can do. I'm gonna tie this into you why this is so significant. Share your data with friends, family, and health team up to 5 people. So now this is like the Facebook of, diabetes. Okay. And I'm not saying that in a very joking way. I'm saying that, like I said, you could have your medical staff be notified as one of your, that team could be one of your 5 friends, so to speak. Your emergency contact, now they ask you for your health form, who's your emergency contact, they could automatically be one of your 5 people. You see what I'm saying? So now these alerts automatically go out to all the people they need to go to. So you see what I mean? Now look, let's check this out real quick. All right, so technology that can change your life. The tiny EverSense sensor is a miracle of advanced technology. There's a smoking gun here. I'm trying to tell you, this is great, and the icing on the cake is coming soon. Stay put. All right, make sure you subscribe, like the video, put your comments in the bottom, hit the notification bell, because this is what we're gonna be doing all day really soon. All right, so or at least that's what I'm working towards for you. All right, now the events, innovation, all this stuff gives you a little bit of detail, some clickable stuff here, basically. Let's look at this video.
Be unstoppable. The 90-day EverSense continuous glucose monitoring system is the first and only subcutaneous FDA-approved CGM system to feature a sensor that measures glucose levels for up to 90 days in adults 18 years and older, a removable and rechargeable smart transmitter with on-body vibe alerts, and a mobile app for long-term and continuous monitoring. The novel EverSense sensor works on fluorescence technology. The components include a fluorescent indicator in a polymer hydrogel and an anti-inflammatory silicone collar surrounding a biocompatible encasement that houses the core electronics and optical interface. A tiny sensor is placed under the skin in the upper arm by a healthcare provider in a brief in-office procedure. A gentle, daily-use double-sided adhesive patch secures the EverSense transmitter to the skin. The transmitter is water-resistant and can be removed and reapplied at any time. The transmitter powers the sensor's electronics wirelessly. A drug-eluting silicone collar reduces potential tissue inflammation, helping the device maintain accurate readings over a longer period. The body's interstitial fluid penetrates the porous matrix of the sensor's hydrogel. Glucose molecules in the interstitial fluid reversibly bind to indicator molecules in the hydrogel. Upon glucose binding, the indicator molecules fluoresce in response to a flash from the sensor's LED. 2 photodiodes measure the intensity of the fluorescing hydrogel, which rises and falls in proportion to the body's glucose levels. Electronics inside the sensor communicate the raw data to the transmitter every 5 minutes. The smart transmitter calculates the glucose concentration from the sensor's signals and quickly provides on-body vibratory alerts to warn the user of impending or current hypo or hyperglycemic events. The transmitter also communicates the glucose readings to the user's mobile device via Bluetooth. The EverSense mobile app displays glucose values, trends, and alerts on a user's smartphone, offering continuous glycemic awareness to patients. The app stores data in a secure cloud server, enabling patients to allow family members or caregivers to remotely view the glucose readings and alerts from their own mobile devices. 90-day Eversense, the first subcutaneous sensor and the only CGM system that provides on-body vibe alerts and long-term monitoring to quickly detect and predict episodes of hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia. 90 days unstoppable.
Okay, so tell me what you think about that in the comments below, right? And let me get this real quick here. All right, so amazing technology. And I mean, you can see based on what you already know where this stuff is going to and the potential. Like I said, remove the transmitter in a few years, at probably at best, maybe even sooner, and you'll have just the chip and it'll be transmitting all this data along with who knows what else. But let's take a look at what else it could be talking about here now. So here's here's a review from the investor place. And it says some stuff, blah, 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 blah. And then here's what I wanted to go over with you. So we already know this pharmaceutical company behind the Eversense system. We already know this sensor for patients with diabetes placed under the skin. We already know this sensor is long-term and rechargeable. We already know patients can go for 90 days. And I guess that 90-day limit might be at this point in time. Actually, it's not a limit because we're going to get to that. But that whole chemical release thing for the anti-inflammatory drug, it's got built into it. That's probably what's causing that. So the sensor, right, and transmitter also work with an app. We know that. The app allows for real-time tracking of glucose levels. We know that. Now, here's what you need to know is it's not that they're also working on a 180-day version. It's already basically there, and it's waiting for approval from the FDA basically in the US. Overseas, it's already popping, which is a good sign because you know how you build up to the height, sell the news. So its application, right, approval was delayed due to current focus on applications related to the COVID. Okay, so even so, the company states or says earlier this week that it expects the application to be approved by the end of Q2. So end of Q2, June, right? And this is January. So basically, it's going to be a lot of talk building up between now and June. And that means during that period of time, the stock could be, well, let's do it this way. The stock could be running up towards the height or based off the height. So it's a lot of, anyway, and you already know Biden, is talking about you want to put, billions of dollars, right? I think it was like 400 billion they want to get into. It's actually for COVID, but I see stuff like this. This is why I was in the dare, being huge, because once they perfect this, it's only little tweaks and adjustments you gotta make before you can set that sensor up to test for other things and or additional things, right? And here's how you saw that in the detail there. So now let's get back to this, okay? Because we came here, we saw this, we saw the video. You can look here, we went over this, right? All right, cool. Now let's look at who running the team, who running the show, right? This is where it gets interesting. This is where it gets really interesting. So the president and CEO is this guy, Tim Goodnow. It's Goodnow. You know what I mean? Like, that's the name. You know you're safe when your CEO is Goodnow. All right. So anyway, he's the president and CEO. Joined 2010 March. Now this is where it gets good. This is what's really powerful. This is why, who your coach. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people look at a team based off the coach. A lot of people look at the business based off who's running it. A lot of people look at like opportunities as who's in control of it, because if you got a great track record, it show you know how to get stuff done, right? So I don't think that there's any room for this to go but up based off the technology, especially considering they have a part that's waiting on FDA approval, which should be any month, any day in the next few months now, right? They already got it popping around the world. Do your own research. And they got the short-term one already in the U.S., and they're just going to approve the long-term. And then, in my mind, it's only going to be a matter of time before they either partner with other people or develop the I guess, pharmaceutical aspects themselves, or buy some patents or whatever they got to do, and then they'll be able to convert that transmitter to start looking at other stuff or that chip. But here's what I'm getting at. Let's look at this, right? So Tim has been instrumental in commercializing the first 90-day ever since CMG system in Europe, and the 180-day product ever since XL, which is now distributed in more than 15 countries. Now, he also, check this part out. This is what I'm saying. You want to get to the money? Look, he also successfully launched ever since in the U.S. only 40 days after FDA approval. So that means that the FDA approved it, and I know it makes sense when you're thinking about the Rona. The FDA approved it and they were shipping it like the next day. That's not always the case. Okay, so look at this. He's in a position, or he's made sure the company was in a position that the FDA approved it and it was launched a month later, basically 40 days. Okay, so Tim continues to drive innovation, product development, etc., etc., etc. Right, and prior to coming to SENS, this is what he was doing. Okay, basically, long story short. All right, I know some of you know some of them companies. Now, let's look at who else on the team though. So this guy here, right, MJ. I mean, they got a team, don't they? They got Goodnail, they got MJ. All right, so he's the chief operating officer, right? He gonna be responsible for quality, regulatory, product, all this stuff, right? Including manufacturing and supply chain. So he's making sure it happens. It gets produced. Everybody's setting up the ideas. Now, prior to joining, he spent 13 years at Medtronic, and you guys gotta look them up and see what they do. They're pretty big. So working on active implantable devices in CRDM and neuromodulation space, right? So he was responsible for managing the development of the neurostimulator systems in spinal cord stimulation and scleral nerve stimulation. He was responsible for managing that. Prior to that, he worked at Medtronic Energy and Component Center, developing various critical components used across their implantable devices. Okay? All right. So you got some background from what other people were doing. You got someone that can bring it to the table really quick. And let's look at this guy, right? Here's your chief financial officer. So he brings 20 years of experience, strategic financial leadership, and operational business partnering in life science, biopharmaceutical, and technology sectors. Oh, he's perfect. So, tells you where he was at, publicly traded. Now look, he took okay, let's just not skip so it makes sense. So Nick previously was vice president, financial planning and analyst at Socampo Pharmaceuticals Inc., a public global biopharmaceutical company which was acquired by this other pharmaceutical company for $1.2 billion. So it's good because why that's good to me, in my observation, is that he worked to make that company marketable to be sold, to be bought. Like some companies even bring someone in just to do that. Like, take us from here to where we appear at this value, or can be bought at this value, and we're gonna sell at that price and make this profit. So, he oversaw that transition basically. And then prior to that, he was a site controller at AstraZeneca. You already know them, right? And he held various financial leadership roles in MedImmune LLC, right? Now, dig this. Look at this now. Biopharmaceutical company, which was acquired by AstraZeneca in 2007 for $15.6 billion. So he's got one company came in recently and made them acquirable by someone larger. They got bought for $1.2 billion. He has a history of making companies profitable, making companies value attract an acquisition. So MedImmune LLC, biopharmaceutical company, which was acquired by AstraZeneca for $15.6 billion. And prior to that, he had financial roles at Corvus Corporation, an optical networking equipment maker that raised more than $1 billion in its initial IPO in 2000. And Honeywell International, a Fortune 500 company that produces commercial and consumer products, engineering services, and aerospace systems. So this guy gonna make sure that your value gets so big that somebody else gonna want to buy you for basically whatever you consider an unresistible amount at the time. Okay, we not done yet. Hold on. So we got this MD lady, all right, Chief Medical Officer, Francine Kaufman. Okay, so Kaufman is dedicated to developing drive innovation platform and clinical value proposition, of Eversense CGM system, right? So she brings a deep understanding of global medical research and clinical in the actual diabetes community. So that's good. She's got the diabetes history. I mean, knowledge and insight, right? And she has a track record of applying novel technologies, which is basically new tech to advance diabetes care for patients. All right, so you got the right person there, right? Okay. Now look at this. Engineering. Okay. Remember the other guy was at Medtronic? Well, here he go. He from Medtronic, right? And if you come back up here, so research and development, boom, that's his position. So it brings more than 30 years of experience in research, development, engineering. He's going to be responsible for the next generation of implantable continuous glucose monitoring products for users worldwide. Now, he has been instrumental in the CGM system development and creating the LOT-based infrastructure for the first implantable CGM worldwide. So this tells you that they already got the first one done. They're working on the next one already. All right, so he had roles at Medtronic Diagnostics, okay, and who else big? Boston Scientific, right? And all right, so, but here's where it starts to get kind of interesting. Who is she? She's just a clinical service lady. Okay, she's, not to put her down, but clinical sciences, excuse me. So she has 25 years experience, because the next person is who I want to make this connection with. And if it wasn't already enough interest for you, this is where the mystery comes in. But hold on. So she's responsible for all clinical affairs, including conducting all U.S. and global clinical trials for existing and future CMD. So she need to push this shit through the FDA. Come on, Catherine. All right. Gotta root for her. Okay, so let's get this is the interesting part right here, right? I'm gonna tell you why it's interesting, because there's a connection here. And I can't find the link though, and it's really interesting, and it's bugging me because I just like to have the link. But here we go. So since joining in 2014, she's been instrumental in the inaugural global commercial launch of SENS. And basically in the XL version in more than 15 countries, right? So she is responsible for all aspects of global commercialization, including product launches, supply chain management, marketing and public relations, clinical training, distribution, partnerships, and product distribution worldwide. Now, here's the interesting thing. Prior to joining Senseonics, right, she served as vice president of sales and marketing for this company, Arcol Medical. And if you're still with me, thank you, because this is the moment you've been waiting for. So, and then it tells you where she was prior to Arcol and Verilight. You know, she directed worldwide strategic commercialization and Freestyle Navigator, right? Which was another continuous glucose monitoring system at their SENS Abbott Diabetes Care. She also worked at LifeScan, a Johnson & Johnson company, where she led marketing efforts of the company's hospital glucose monitoring business unit, championed its first product venture with Inverness Medical Self-Care, right? Additionally, she managed some other stuff, best-selling one-touch system, right? But here's her last company that she is with, Arcol Medical, which, again, this is amazing. This is the perfect person to bring in for this application here. So what I was looking at, right, was Arcol Medical, because remember, her role is general manager, global commercial operations. So she's responsible for all aspects of global commercialization, including product launches, supply chain management, marketing and public relations, clinical training, distribution, partnerships, and product distribution worldwide. This is a huge part of the success of this company here. So when you look at Arcol, if I'm saying that right, Arcol Medical. So when you look at that, right, you see a lot of stuff going on. And I mean, you're talking, there was stuff on here, they're getting 17 million here, doing this, doing that. It says it was founded in 2005. Its headquarters is in Hiroshima, Japan. And look at here, the brief description. Arcol Medical has developed the next generation continuous glucose monitoring system using its minimally invasive, proprietary, and patented microtip technology. The microtips provide painless access to ISF glucose. All right. Now, with all that being said, the interesting thing is this company was doing whatever it was news, it was everything, and then it totally disappears. I can't find anything else about it after 2017. Right? So, and here's something cool from the actual filing to show you why this will support why I think it's such a big connection or opportunity for the 5G sector and can grow into that massive scale. Here's the support I have for that. So, because I don't like to just tell you, I feel it in my gut. You know what I mean? Yeah, you feel in your gut now. Now find the evidence that supports it, right? So, okay, so here we go. So basically, when you go back to the history, because remember I said you got to know why you're in these companies, not just study the company in its entirety. Like some people stop at the product, some people stop at the name, whatever. But I want you to go down as far as you can go down the rabbit hole. That's why I said stocks are great for anybody that's ever been called a conspiracy theorist, because you guys do the research anyway. You enjoy it. Okay, you're a researcher by nature. So when you dive down into this one, right? This company here, Okay, ASN Technologies is actually what put SENS in position. So we were originally incorporated as ASN Technologies Inc. in Nevada on June 26, 2014, prior to the acquisition. Now we got all this SPAC talk now back in 2014. All right. So they were in the business of designing and developing location-based mobile application to allow users to share information about nearby social and other events. Now, again, I told you at the beginning of the video why I was looking at there and how these companies that develop this stuff, it just takes a few little changes and adjustments and you got something totally different. But they're able to, it's a good practice technology to roll this out under diabetes pretense, because you can morph it into a more inclusive application after you perfected the technology, which you see they're already working on the next generation. All right. Now, this ASN Technologies Inc. was in the business of designing and developing a location-based mobile application to allow users to share information about nearby social and other events. So it's going to be able to. Oh, let's cover this so we put this out here. So now, where's it at? It tells you a little bit about the. So at the same time we entered the merger agreement, we entered into a spin-out agreement pursuant to which, in connection with the closing of the acquisition, the assets of our former business were transferred to Daniel Davis, our former president and director, in exchange for $9,000 and the assumption by Mr. Davis of all liabilities related to the former business as described elsewhere herein. So this right here basically sounds like, to me, everybody wanted to do this move except for him, and he was like, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. You know what I mean? And they said, okay, $9,000 and and you out. Right? So he and this is gonna be like one of those Apple stories back in the day where like the one guy left Apple right in the beginning, or the one guy that left Facebook right in the beginning, and then it goes quadruple billion, and he got what he got. So I want you to get what you can get, but here's the amazing thing. They were developing a location-based mobile application to allow users to share information about nearby social and other events. So just location-based, we already know about the mobile application. The sharing information right now is going to be all about the diabetes. So that's going to be the information it's going to be sharing. And then the nearby social and other events is going to be all those alerts and stuff that's going on, and other people in the hospitals and doctors and everybody. So this system, you can't, he may have bought out, he may have took the assets and everything, but the company, this is what they were doing. So they could easily redevelop it or perfect it or tweak something here, and now they have, quote unquote, a different technology. So they had a huge head start coming into this. They picked up SENS, and now they merging it, and that's where they're going. And that's why I'm saying this is, when 5G hit, this is gonna explode. If it, from wherever it's at, like, it's already gonna explode. But then when 5G hit and like all these at-home doctor visit companies and all this stuff that's blowing up, this is then gonna have another surge, because they're gonna eventually get to the point where those chips can do a lot more than just diabetes. So that's what I want to show you there. And then you can't find nothing about this Arco company after 2017. See, you got all this wonderful stuff happening. 180. Well, that's a competition. So, but yeah, all these little articles about it, and then here, 2017, and this is the last you hear about them, right? if you can find something else, I'd like to see it. Let me know. Put a link in the comments below. Here, look, $17.5 million raised in the Series B financing. All kinds of stuff was going on. Okay, and this is where you get to, right here, where it shows you that that lady became her position in Senseonics. Okay, even if you go to, so Bloomberg here has their website, but they don't have no employees, and even the founding date is gone. So that's not always the case to say something's bad, but it's not a good look. So when you go to the website for them, it says page not found. All right, and then here's just the reference from 2015 where they came in and a medical technology company focused on development and commercialization of long-term implantable continuous glucose monitoring system for people with diabetes announced today the completion of its merger with ASN Technologies, Inc. In connection with the merger, ASN changed its name to SENS Holdings. Simultaneously with the merger, ASN Technologies disposed of its legacy business by selling liabilities. And that's just reiterating what we already know there, but just wanted to show you that. So, the mysterious link to the mysterious vanish of a company, and we have a bunch of good experience, which means this team is really, really, really strong. And this guy here, where's he at? No, not him, financial dude. Yeah, he's all about making sure you get billions later on, right? So there you have it. Get you about, many shares you can risk. I think, like I said, I think the risk right now, I don't think it'll drop more than $1, which I know that you're like, that's like 60%. But in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing. If you put down $2,000 on this today and it dropped $1 per share, you might be looking at, but you buy in another 500, 600, or 1,000 shares there. Like when this thing comes back up, that's all I'm gonna say. Even if you get out at after $5, $6, you're gonna have a nice day. But the potential here is limitless. And like I said, by the time 5G technology takes off, and they flip this chip over into generation 2, where it can do diabetes, it can do heart rate, it can do pedometer, it's going to have your location ability. It's going to be, what else? Your heart rate. What else do we want to check for you? Your oxygen levels, your body temp. Like, it's going to be able to do everything really soon. Watch. That's the way I see they going. And Pasha Pyro, YNS7, thank you for tuning. The replay, big board pep for my peeps. Now go get the bag. Go get the bag.